You can go back to the screen.
Hello, hello, hello. God bless you and welcome. This is Live at 5, where the condition of your soul is our top priority, and where living your best or your blessed life is in order. This is where we care about the quality of your life, and we really care about not just your quality of life, but the quality of life for all of us. God bless you and welcome. I'm Annalene Reedley. I'm a psychologist, and I love to talk to people about mental health. I love to talk to people about the condition of our souls. I say, and I stick to it, that mental health is not for some of us. Mental health is for all of us. Mental health is not for some people. Mental health is for all people. The reason why I say that is because mental health is concerning the brain, concerns our brains. So as long as you have a brain, you need to take care of your brain. So as long as we have brains, we take care of our mental health. We thank you. I thank you for joining me and thank you for spending this time with me. We are speaking today about being productive. We are speaking today about living your life out, living your dreams out, accomplishing your goals, doing the absolute best you can, dreaming big, and getting those things that you dream for. We are speaking about completing projects. We're speaking about completing what you started. Doesn't matter what it was. We are speaking about those things. So if you are here with me today and you are somebody who wants to do great things, you're somebody who wants to accomplish great things, you are somebody who wants to do your absolute best at work, and you want to progress at work, then we need to speak today. We need to talk. So if you are somebody who wants to do great things with your life, stay tuned and let's talk about these things today. So I know that all of us have a desire to do great things. All of us have a will to accomplish big things. We want to do things that one day would make our children proud. We want to do things that make our children's children proud. But more than that, we want to do things that makes our today better and our tomorrow better. We want to accomplish things that makes improves life for us and for our families. But here's the catch. So that we can accomplish great things, so that we can do excellent in our lives and we can leave a legacy and we can accomplish good things. We want to do those things. For us to get there, we need to be able to check the condition of our souls. So, checking the condition of our souls helps us to work through whatever we need to work through that has the potential to slow us down, to slow us way, way down. There are many things that we go through in our lives that we leave unresolved. There are things that we experience that we never go back to resolve. When we do not resolve those things, we carry weight with us. When we're heavy and we have difficulties, it is very difficult to accomplish things that we've set out to do. It's very difficult to push ourselves, to maintain our energy, to maintain the motivation, to maintain the drive and the passion to do great things if we are carrying unresolved issues along with us. Sorry. So we want to make sure that we resolve issues. We are so concerned. I am concerned about the quality of your life, about the condition of our souls, about the condition of my soul. And I like to stop and reflect what it about whatever concerns me, whatever bothers me, whatever happened to me, and how that affected me, so that I can resolve it, learn from it, and that I can move forward. Okay, so there are things that happens to us that may cause anxiety. There are things that happens to us that may cause depression. We might have anxiety because of so because of genes. We might have depression because it's hereditary or genetic. So we also might have other conditions. But then also life just happens, and we maybe have conflict with family, or we have conflict in relationships, or we have a difficult job, or we work or live in a toxic environment. And all those things, all those issues of life, the things that really can crawl into our souls, when we do not attend to it, we sit with unresolved issues. And all these weighty things can impact the state or the condition of our souls. So it impacts how we process information. So that which we see, when we take it in, what do we see? How do we understand it? What do we hear? It influences those things. We cannot just assume that what we see is the truth, what we see is fact. Sometimes we need to challenge, what do we see? And is that a fact? Was that real? Did somebody go out of their way to simply mess up your day? Or is that the way you process it? Is that the way you see it? So it is important for us to assess these things, because if we do not, it becomes weighty. So it influences unresolved issues, unresolved experiences, unresolved brushes with life, things that we avoid to dive into, impacts how we, in the first place, receive feedback and process information. More than that, it can impact the condition of our brain, not just the condition of our souls. Then, number two, unresolved issues, difficulties in life, like I mentioned, anxiety, depression in mental illness category, or anxiety and depression caused by life experiences, conflict, relationship issues, toxic environments, difficulties, stress, loss. If these things are not, that can happen to any of us, right? These things can happen to any of us. If these things are not resolved, then these things spill over in our lives, and it causes heaviness, weightiness that impacts how we are able to achieve, how productive we can be, how we are able to accomplish, how far we can run with whatever we take on, whether we are able to push through difficulties, whether we are able to push through dry areas or wilderness experiences. When we are able to resolve issues, it becomes, and I'll get into that is very important. I want to remain with that. In the first place, life experiences, unresolved issues impact how we process information in the first place, and then it influences how we give information out. So it influences how we receive information or feedback, and it impacts how we give information out, how we behave, how we react. Okay. So if somebody is having difficulty with, for example, conflict in the home environment, toxic home environment, and issues are never resolved, it becomes so difficult to feel light when you enter your day. It becomes so difficult to focus simply on what you need to accomplish today, what you need to be productive in today, what you need to do to make do great things. So we need to pay attention to how the things that impact our souls, how that in the end impacts what we do, what we accomplish, how productive we are, how competent we are, how accomplished we are. Sometimes somebody can be very accomplished, somebody can be very productive, somebody can do so much, but they don't do it being at peace. If you watch the Viola Davis interview with Oprah Winfrey, even though she accomplished so much, she didn't quite get what she wanted, because it is the condition of our souls that gives us the experience of quality of life. So if we want to experience quality of life and happiness and goodness when we accomplish things and we reach high heights and we do great things, then we have to check, we have to watch the condition of our souls. When we resolve issues, then we have the capacity to feel lighter, to approach the day lighter. We are able to get to work or the office or our business or whatever project we are taking on, and we are able to focus on the work at hand, and we are able to complete tasks. But when we have the weight of unresolved issues, it becomes so much more difficult. So if somebody has severe conflict at home, and people are very negative toward that person. So if all that person hears is you are useless, you can't do anything, you'll never accomplish anything, even though that person might be very clever, even though that person might be very bright and very capable, every time they hit an obstacle, they are going to remember, by the way, I won't accomplish anything. By the way, I'm useless. By the way, this is not, won't work out for me. By the way, life is difficult for me and I'm not good enough. So those unresolved issues then pile up and they weigh us down and or slow us down. Okay, so what do you want to do? Let's get to that part. What can we do? So we need to resolve these issues. Putting our heads in the sand will not work. Hiding from it will not work. Oppressing it, trying to forget about it, will simply not work. These issues become your story. It's part of your story. And trying to make as if it doesn't exist is not going to make it better, and it's not going to go and make it go away. I like to say to patients that the difficulties in our lives is part of our painting. It's part of the painting of our lives, and the intense colors and the bright colors all make up this beautiful painting of our lives, that when we look back over it, we just see one whole painting, and it is beautiful. So we don't want to just ignore how difficulties affect us, how experiences impact our lives. We want to go into it. We want to work it out. Because if we do not work it out, we are unable to manage it, we are unable to gain coping skills, and we're not going to be able to outgrow it. Don't you want to outgrow pain? Don't you want to outgrow people who continue to oppress you? Don't you want to be higher than that? That things that used to hurt you 5 years ago doesn't continue to hurt you for the next 20 years. And how do you do that? You do that by getting into therapy. So you go and you find yourself a good therapist, psychologist. If you don't want to go into counseling, into therapy, you can go into counseling. So you can go and speak to your pastor. You can go and speak to a social worker. You can go and speak to somebody that is wiser, that you consider wiser. You want a mentor or a coach, or you just want to be able to process the condition of your soul, the state of your life, the state of how the experiences that you have impact you specifically. You don't want to let those experiences go to waste. Our bad experiences don't need to happen, but when they do happen, it is your wisdom. It is your stripes, it is your battle scars, it is your chaps, it is good stuff. And if we dig into it and we learn, then we can become stronger than what we've ever been because of the experience that we have. For the experience, we can be better. You want to write about it, you can write, you can journal it, and you can go back and learn from it. I don't like simple journaling. The simple journaling has its place and it is good. I like strategic journaling. So I like that you put down the issue and then, well, this is what I recommend. You put down the issue and then you get possible solutions to that issue. So if I live in a conflict ridden environment, if I live in an environment where people constantly fight, this is the environment that I live in, what can I do about it? Am I able to resolve the conflict? Am I able to talk to people about this at home? Are people open to sitting down and growing and learning from each other? Or do I have to find a new place to live? For each of these four options that I have, there are four more possible solutions for each one of these. So if I think that I can approach people and start working on how we talk to each other, how am I going to do that? How am I going to go about approaching people so that eventually we get to the place where we can sit down and talk about this? We eventually get to the place where we can say, this is our problem. We can identify a problem. And this is what we've learned from whoever. Uncle so and so used to teach us that we resolve issues by fighting. But now doesn't work anymore. And we want to do things differently. How are we going to do that? What can we learn about communication, effective communication? What can we do about this? Or do we all go into therapy? Do we go into a family session and we start to just bash things out? I like to say a family session for me, a couple session or family session is just to open up the channels so that people go home and now they are able to talk freely, honestly, and openly about how they feel and the condition of their souls. All right, so even if it is a toxic environment at work, what can you do about it? Don't just put your head in the sand. Let's not just wait for issues to resolve themselves. Let us go and actively, proactively work on what is next. Or how long do I need to endure this? Do I need to be here for the next 3 years or 4 years? And if there's nothing I can do about the toxic environment, I say to people, you need to question. You need to resolve this for yourself in your mind. Are you facing a battleship or are you facing a lighthouse? When it comes to toxic environments, you need to know, you need to identify, am I facing a lighthouse which I'm going to just break myself against, which means I'm unable to resolve issues in this place. I just need to ride it out. Or am I facing a battleship where it can move out of my way, or I'm able to change the environment, impact or influence the environment where I am? Right. So we need to be able to resolve issues by going into it, by talking to somebody about it that can help us think about how we perceive things, how we process information, what we take in, and then what we give out, how we behave when we get to into an environment or situation, um, how we show up in the world, basically. So, if we want to be able to go further, to accomplish more, to do great things, we are not going to accomplish more and do great things and go further if we are carrying heavy weight in the form of unresolved issues, unresolved emotions, unresolved experiences. When, and this is my final point, when we are able to resolve issues, those issues might even become the wind behind what drives you. So if we see how many people, once they've gone through a process, once they've started to work things out, we see that they actually write a book about their story. So that issue that they were so afraid of, that difficulty that they faced, became the content that, or the wind that pushed them further in their lives. So if you are going to do great things, if you have a dream, if there's something that you want to do for other people, if there's something you want to do for your community, if there are things that you want to um, do for God, you are not going to be able to do that if you are carrying heavy weight. The Bible says, let us lay aside the sins and the traps that so easily ensnares us, and the heavy weight, so that we are able to serve the Lord, so that we are able to press forward, so that we can run this race to accomplish the prize which is in Christ Jesus. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you will be courageous. I hope that you will be brave. And I hope that you would go ahead and start to face the difficulties or the issues of life that you are dealing with. And you can learn from it and go so much further. Do join us on our hike, our walk on the 21st of March to Cradle Moon. Alisa's number is available for anybody who wants to come and join us. We are looking out for you, our brave blossoms. This year, we're going to sort out our minds. We're going to sort out what's going on over here so that we can do great things for God. It takes a brave person to admit weakness. It takes a brave person to admit when you cannot handle something or you do not know how to handle it. I say to a lot of patients that many people will not be able to walk through the doors of our psychiatric unit. Many people will never have the courage or the bravery to walk through those doors because they don't want to be labeled, number one, because they do not consider themselves weak, because of stereotyping. But many people doesn't know the value of really going into our minds, our life experiences, and really sorting it out so that we can do great things for God, so that we can live a life that leaves a legacy. You want to live a life that leaves a legacy? Sort out your mind. So this is the theme of our walk. The theme of our walk is to sort out our minds, to walk it out, to break through, and to do something that maybe sometimes something that we never would have done if we didn't sort out our minds. Join us. Thank you very much for your time. I love you and I thank the Lord for every moment that I have to spend